Here's your log test review, also known as how I aced my log test. With the rewriting sections, going from either exponential to log or vice versa, remember to just use the loop trick. Start at the base and loop around. And so here I'm going from exponential to log. So first thing I'm going to do is write log. The first thing I start with is the 2. So log base 2. And the second thing I come across is the 16. So log base 2 of 16 equals the 4. That's it. And on this one, same thing. Start at the base and loop around. Okay, so the base is 5. Then the second thing I get to is the -2. And that would equal the 0.008. Pretty simple. Evaluate. These can be done mentally because it's just like our log war game was. So here, 3 to what power is 81? 3 to the 4th power. Okay, if you're not sure, you can type this stuff in the calculator to verify. So therefore, the answer is 4. On here, remember, because I have a fraction, that does mean that my answer is negative, and the best way to do this is to just cover up that fraction for a second. So just look at it comparing the 4 to the 16. What exponent does it take to get 4 to 16? You have to square 4 to get 16. So I'm thinking, okay, well maybe the answer is 2. Oh wait, because it's a fraction, it's -2. Again, just ignore that 1 for a second. 4 to 16, you have to square it. That's where the 2 comes from. The negative is because it's a fraction. Condense to a single log. Start by taking any coefficient and making that become an exponent. So this is going to become the exponent of the y. So we've got log of 4 minus log of y squared. So start by moving coefficients to exponents. Then deal with the addition and subtraction stuff. Well, that looks like this is going to be division, because subtraction turns into division of one single log. So log of the first thing divided by the second thing. It's one log, and it's the first thing on top, the second thing on bottom. Here I don't see any coefficients in front of any of these, so I don't have to worry about that. But what I do need to do is, because I have all this addition, all of these are going to multiply together. It's going to stay the same base, but they're all going to multiply together. So it's going to be log base 3 of 4 times 2 times 11. Well, let's simplify that. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 11 is 88. So then the answer is log base 3 of 88. Expand as much as possible. So this is the opposite. Here, begin with the biggest picture first and split it down into its smaller things. So the big picture in this problem is that it's a big fraction. Fraction split into subtraction. So I'm going to rewrite this as log of the top, which is a squared, minus log of the bottom, which is b to the 4th. Now each of those can split down a little bit further because they each have exponents. So those exponents are going to drop down in front of their respective logs. So that means the answer is going to be 2 times log a minus 4 times log b. That's the answer to that. Number 8. The big picture here is I see 3 things times each other, so I'm going to split those apart into addition. So that's going to be log of the first thing plus log of the second thing, which is x cubed, plus log of the last thing, which is y. And none of these have any exponents except for this one, so this exponent is going to drop down in front of its own log, and that does have to be the last step. You can't drop the 3 down first. It does have to be the last step there. So that means my answer is just log 8 plus 3 log x plus log y. And then the last 3 questions. Here's a good one, a little food for thought. So, is this equation correct? Why or why not? Well, if you look at it just kind of without putting too much effort into it, you would notice that you've got addition. Addition means you're supposed to combine it by multiplying. And sure, 3 times 4 is 12. But when we look at it a little bit closer, look at the bases. This is log base 2, this is log base 5, and this is log base 7. Nowhere ever have we said anything about the bases adding or subtracting or doing anything else. In fact, the reason why this equation is not correct is because the bases are not the same. In order for you to be able to combine 2 logarithmic expressions, you have to have the same base all the way through. So the reason why this doesn't work is because the bases are not the same. Which, of course, is it correct? No, it's not correct. And why? Because the bases are not the same. Find the inverse of this function. Okay, well, first of all, treat f of x as a y. Swap your x and y. That means you've got x equals 3y plus 4 over 5. And then now solve for y. It looks like I have to get rid of the 3, the 4, and the 5 by doing the opposite operations. The first thing I'm going to do is get rid of the 5 by multiplying. Multiply both sides by 5. Okay. Now I've got 5x on one side, and I've got 3y plus 4 on the other side. Should be pretty straightforward. I'm going to subtract the 4. 5x minus 4 is just 5x minus 4. Okay, equals 3y. And then the last step is divide the entire sides by 3. And so then really that means that this is the answer right here. And then lastly, I've got 2 functions and I want to find the composition. You start with the innermost function first. So I'm plugging 64 into g. Well, okay, g says I have to square root my input, so square root of 64 is 8. Okay, and so that's 8 minus 3 is 5. Now I'm going to take that amount, plug that into the next thing, which is the f function. So I'm going to put 5 in for that too. So 5 in for that x. 5 plus 2 is 7. So then that answer there is 7. All right, review any parts you need help with, and see me in the morning or after school if you need any help.